All right, I'd like to introduce you to something new that we're going to add to our YouTube videos. It's called Additional Exercises. Now, what I've already done is I've taken the textbook and made little lessons from the examples in the textbook, so that if you're watching videos, you should watch first. Now, when you've done some practice or after you've seen that video or read the textbook, then you could start on something like this. Now we'll have all these posted on Blackboard, so if you wanted to make a copy of them, you could. But here we're working exercises as opposed to teaching. We did the teaching with the other set of videos. Here we're just going to work these exercises and go over points perhaps that you've mastered. So basically what we're doing here, and I'm going to make a little line up on the top. Now this line that I'm making is, as you may realize, the number line. And right in the middle is 0. And then numbers to the right are positive. Numbers to the left are negative. And between these numbers are various sets of numbers. And of course, all the numbers on the number line are real numbers. So the first type of exercise they're going to have us do is to figure out what to insert here. These inequality signs, this is less than, greater than, or equal to. And again, if you want a mental thing, put it on the number line. So 0 is here, 44 is way out there, and we said anything to the right is greater than. So anything to the left, 0 is less than. Now here you have to be careful of the decimal points. So on the number line, and I'm making little marks, this is a plus, this would come to the left of it, so this is less. Now absolute value, this comes out of that as a 4, this comes out of the absolute sign as a 3, so 4 is greater than 3. And this comes out as a 1, so 1 is greater than negative 1. Now on number 5, you have to read it carefully whenever there's a lot of words, and they just want you to compare these 3 angles of a right triangle. And how do we know it's a right triangle? Well, because, let's see if I can make a nice mark here. This is 90, this is 60, and this is 30. So this is like a super typical right triangle. All right, now what I'll do is I'll pause, bring it up, and then for these next few, you're going to determine if in fact these statements are true. So what I'll do, and you can actually pause the tape at this time, because very shortly I will have all the answers. Now again, you're thinking of a number line, and anything to the right on the number line is greater than what will be to the left. So this is to the left, so therefore that is true. This now, notice that a negative 2 is going to be over here, while a negative 8 would be to the left of it. So we're saying a negative 2.4 is greater or equal to this. Now here's one that is false. Because of this negative sign, these are not equal, and this is actually greater than. If it was this, it'd be true. But they have it as less than or equal to. And notice that if one part of it is true, then it's true. These do equal, therefore one part is true, it's true. And 0 is greater than negative 7, because there's 0, and negative 7 would be over here. Okay, we'll raise it up, and you notice as I raise it up, what we had there disappears. I have no way to keep it. Now here, they're asking us to rewrite these expressions so this part is on this side. Well, what it is basically is we're going to read it this way as opposed to reading it from left to right. So we just rewrite it 1/2 and then put the negative there. Now keep in mind the point is toward the negative 1/2, so we put the point there, make our inequality sign, add the equal sign, and then put the 1/2. So we're just writing it this way, and if we read it this way, a negative 1/2 is less than or equal to 1/2. And this one we would write 2, again the point is toward the 2, is less than 7. When you read it this way, you read the 7 is greater than 2. But you can also read it from the right going toward the left. Now it says use integers to represent the values in each sentence. If she writes a check for this much, then at the end of the week she deposited this much. Okay, so basically she writes a check, so this would be a negative that she's taking out of her account, and for number 13 that would be a positive that she's putting into her account. See if I can get a positive going there. Now Garrett was at the quarry practicing for his diving certification. During the dive he descended, so descended is negative, and then later he descended another, so we have two negatives there. So descending is negative in both cases. Now again, the nice thing about these little extra or additional exercises is there's usually only 20. And they're short and give you an idea of what you might expect as you finally get test items. Although you'll have plenty of practice and your quiz me's as you go along. So here are the number sets we've worked with. Natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational, and I did the lesson on these on the other tape. Here they just want you to put them over here in 15 through 20, which belong to each set. Remember, in some cases, all of these numbers, by the way, are real numbers. So for number 20, you're going to list them all. I'll pause now. Okay, so again, you have to be alert as to what the sets are of 15 through 20. And there are your answers. Keeping in mind that all numbers listed are real numbers. Now, if I were in class, I'd ask you, well, is there any other kind of number? And we would say, yes, there is another kind of number. And it looks like this, the square root of -1. Now, that's not a real number. This is what we call an imaginary number, and we say the square root of -1, equals the lowercase letter I. And these, you'll find out in the next course, make up a group of numbers that are, along with the real numbers, are called complex numbers. But in our course, we only deal with these real numbers. All right, there's our first little additional exercises that we're doing. We'll be going on to topic 1.3.